It's the Dread Mob. So I did pick a Dread Mob list with my boy Martin Anderson. Now, before you say hello, this is a weird skew why tactics and it doesn't have enough walkers, blah blah blah. Mind you, this is competitive. This is Git was trying to go to a big event. It was 6 round event where he was trying to get good wins. He put up very high scores in the events that games that he didn't win. So there's intentionality behind this. And if you didn't want to play the skew, the videos that we have on Dread Mob can point you to how to play it without being a skew, but still playing it optimally so you can still win games, right? One of the things that's fun about here is I've also seen this put on other skews where, for example, the 1 unit of 6 kilocans is something that a year, maybe a year and a half ago, I have a video on when I make the kilocan video. And I already back then said you can at least play one of this always in this. And something that people always tell me is kilocans suck. They suck at first when you're getting used to their sucky movement. Everything outside of that is fantastic. So as we talk about this Dread Mob list, we'll just break it down real quick. We're going to look at his matchups, all that good stuff. So shout out to this Git Martin Anders for my personal choice pick this week. We have triple Big Mac with shock attack on. Like I said, this is the DACA detachment, right? No matter what people think about the rest of our detachments, this is the DACA detachment. I would dare to say, even compared to Tactical Brigade, where they have a lot of shooting options, this detachment says, I'm just going to shoot you, period. Regardless if you're playing mech gun spam, Titanic, whatever Walker spam, Swampa type thing, Kilocan spam, rocket spam, or DACA spam of this variation. I've seen other ones. You've seen it throughout the years. But flash kits in this. You can do it with mech guns, whatever. You can do it with more kilocans. So this can be skewed to your gets. But let's talk about how this actually functions so that you can make it work for you still. Because as you can see, outside of those triple shock attack guns, that's 2 mech. That is for the SWAT team, DACA support, mobile trucks, right? We talk about them as the DACA bunkers, whatever you want to talk about it. Did a video, top 3 orc units. You don't know what you're using wrong. You'll see that the mech is in there. You can watch the video on how do you, and that breaks it down more if you want more information. But that's obviously going to be a concept in this because your kilocan unit cannot be given +1 a hit as a unit, as the mech's ability only functions for a individual model. So you could do it to 1 kilocan, literally 1 can, but that's about it. So that's obviously not their functionality. Then you have Zagrout Wartsnaga. Very cool in this detachment, as every detachment on the wall. Very unique unit. But in this one, that makes it different is he has a 12-inch reactive move, right? So when you have a 12-inch reactive move, whether it comes up or not, the enemy has to take it into account. If you go, this unit that moves 12 inches, I can reactive move it 12 inches. Does it come up only once in every 10 games? Yes. Does every opponent have to consider it? Almost, right? It depends on the matchups, but yeah, there's a good chance that something comes up like that. So not that it's going to happen, you're even going to use your CP on it, but you could. They don't know that, and they have to account for it. So that goes along the big mob. And then we go to another battle benefit of this detachment. Battle line grots. Bring 40 grots to 40 grots, and they're run herders, of course. So 44 bodies, 2 OC, a bunch of battle line screens, a lot of very important screens to have this detachment because of the bodies, the DACA, the lack of ability to fall back and do things. So you do tend to bring a lot of grots, and who doesn't want a bunch of grots? 3 trucks in this detachment. Like I said, you got the mobile bunkers, so you can put 2 big mechs with shock attack guns, with the tank bustas into a truck with 2 flash kits, and then you can use a unit of Ludas in another truck, for example, and then just pick different firing lanes and start shooting like that. And then the other Luda unit, either you can put them up in a terrain piece and walk them to the middle objective, or put 1 into strategic reserve at the beginning of the game. Then you go to 3 bricks of Ludas. Like I said, can substitute for flash kits, can substitute for mech guns, you can substitute for more kilocans. But in this case, bring a bunch of Ludas simply because they're cheap, a lot of points. And of course, you can put the mechs just onto the Ludas and give them the data sheet ability so they have access to the button. So there's a good chance that in tandem, you have your mech in the building ready for your truck to move out the firing lane. He can give them +1 to hit from inside the building through the wall. And then when it's time for the Ludas to move out, they can move out to the middle objective, and then they still have the data sheet ability. They can act as overwatching for that middle objective terrain. So when people go to start getting those early points on area denial and such, you're like, nope, I got this 100-point Ludas unit with the mech gun on there. I can choose lethal, I can choose sustain and overwatch. That's also what makes it different than the other detachments, right? Is yeah, I can get sustain in more DACA from the wall, and I can get it from my freebooters detachment. But and I can do +1 to hit from Tactical Brigade. But in this detachment, I can choose even on Overwatch. I want sustain, I want lethal, right now. My unit's gonna die anyways. It's a shitty orc unit, no defense, just some bodies, 100 points. You're gonna kill it with whatever, but I get double activations out of this, and it's on my terms. So that's the difference of this. Now he did choose to bring two of them have two rockets, two have two custom mega blasters. Have you noticed? The point of that is you get more shots with the custom mega blasters. The other guys get blast, right? And then obviously the assured damage. So it might be just WYSIWYG based off him. You choose your poison because it's all Fundaka. Then he has one unit of Storm Boys and he has one unit of Warbike. So just that perfect speed combo. Warbiker is just a little tougher for some certain situations. Storm Boys get to objectives easier. Deep strike unit, all the good stuff. Flying mobility infantry, love it. So let's look at. So yeah, I like this. It's optimized spammy version archetype, but you can bring these down and make it better. Now, the one thing my boy said, there's no dreads. Yeah, there's no dreads because dreads are absolutely not good data sheets. Now, can you make them work sometimes as a crazy git? Sure. But they're just pretty bad overall. I say they work better in small games, right? But at 2K, they're just too easy to take. So he's in 25th place here. Now, I know he got that. Oh, but it's the Liam VSL. All right. If you don't know who Liam is arguably, if not arguably, even absolutely like the best player that plays 40K in the world, right? One Worlds with CSM, I'm pretty sure, or I forgot which event of exactly with CSM and all this different stuff. So losing to him, it is what it is. He's probably one of those people who actually knows what Dread Mob is to a degree and just locks it down because he knows how to work it. So how you work? All right, so losing to him, whatever, wash. But the rest of the other ones, good scores, everything still went well. And then he lost his last game to another spammy strong army also. So let's look at his path to victory. Put up some good scores here with a skewed DACA variation. So we have the World Eaters, Karn, Master of Executioners, and then Double Slaughterbound. One was favorite of Corn. We have is this 10 man? One, two, yeah, two 10-man units of Corn Zerkers in one's in a Rhino. 2 units of Chaos Spawn, followed by 3 minimum sized unit of 8 bound, and then 3 minimum sized unit of Exalted 8 bound. You like how I'm saying minimum? And then a Goremonger, followed by a Jack. Pretty spammy, same thing. As you can see, that's what's going on here, right? Everybody was bringing their A game, and sometimes, sadly, 40K is very A gamey, right? There's a bunch of videos right now that are out from like our boys Tactical Turtis, Morty, and Glory, Aspect. People just saying, the meta's kind of figured out. It didn't change enough. That was kind of the complaints. Yeah, of course. And that's why we're seeing lists that like this. But gotta do what you gotta do when you're going to an event and trying to win and get stuck in. Then you go into the next one was against Liam. He was playing Eldar, which most people think isn't even good anymore. But hey, Eldar is doing great. So it is what it is when he's playing it. Solitaire, Triple Trope Masters, Storm Grading. Triple tropes or 4 tropes, I guess. 1, 2, 3. What is this? Yeah, 3 units of Dark Reapers. Sorry, I was looking at the war gear. A Falcon, a Ranger, a 4-man unit of Sky Weavers, and then triple Star Weavers with triple Swooping Hawk. So if you don't know, Dread Mob's weakness is that it's slow. So if you're able to box it in, especially with like some kind of infiltration, stop the trucks from moving out, stop the cans from ever coming off the table edge, because there's a good chance that you put them into reserves in some matchups. They rapid ingress in, and they use the Archimetic Pistons so that they can re-roll their advance roll and then come in on the wall for an advanced shoot and charge. Which are all strats you can do to kill a cam brick. That's why you really just need that one big killer cam brick for your walker detachment, right? It's because it goes supercharged. Well, when you control a battlefield with this much speed, this much chaff against, we have those, usually we're happy with our Ludas being 100 points and such. They have a bunch of small man fast units that can take contact away from you, stop you from getting to positions, pounce on your units, do really good trading while also scoring and taking over the table. And of course, best player in the world. So, it happens. Then we move into his third game, right? And we have going into Space Wolves, Gladius Task Force. So we got Bjorn, a lieutenant with Combi, Ragnar Blackmane, Wolfgar Battle Leaders, 2 of them. One with Honor Vehement. We have Blood Claws. Is there Ragnar in here? Yeah, there is. All right, Ragnar. I think they give her like reroll wounds when he's on there. I just like Ragnar for fun. If you guys didn't know, Ragnar came out, cut Gaz's head off, and then Gaz became even better. So we had a 5-man unit of Assault Intercessors with Jump Back, an Infiltrator duo, so 2 5-man units of those Infiltrators, followed by a Land Raider Redeemer, and then double Repulsor Executioners, followed by 2 units of Head Takers. So, they actually brought some DACA on their on their list. Well, that's the thing that's also really good about Dread Mob, right? They actually have built in +1 to hit, +1 to wound. It's not plus one hit, sorry. Plus one wound, plus one damage as a strat. And then they can make stuff like killer cans reroll the entire hit roll. The whole unit. And then of course the kill the Ludas can if you're on the objective. He had tank busters on the list as well. So the tank busters are getting sustain. And of course they have the Ludas that have to ignore cover. So when you do take that unit out and people regularly will move this Land Raider Redeemer onto like a middle objective, at least it's happened for me in this way. Not that everything's what happens. People move something like that on. I have my Ludas had already come out. They've shot something, and then when they start to move into the middle objective, it's the one that ignores cover. It's even better, but you can then overwatch that Land Raider, pick lethal, your Ludas, your shock attack gun, boom, you're re-rolling the hit roll, hit a 6, melt right through him. He can't armor of contempt, some free damage onto something like a Land Raider Redeemer, stuff like that for front overwatch that you can get off in this detachment as well. And then of course you have a bunch of 3 damage weapons and 2 damage weapons for like when the head takers do come out. Not necessarily that fast of an army, and once you can take the armor out, it's not really standing on much else left. But 18 points, like to see that. But Dread Mob is just like, yeah, you just got all the weapons, and then I'm still Orcs on the wall. I'll just charge you, and I still have Zod, so I can still manipulate the battlefield. That's the only thing he has that's fast, but I can flip objectives on there, etc. Then we go to his 4th matchup, which was against another Space Wolf Gladius. This is a different one. Yeah. He has Arjack. Just beating up a bunch of Space Wolves. I like that. Arjack, Bjorn Fellhand, Lieutenant with combi weapon, Logan Grimnar, and then a Wolf Priest. 1 Assault Squad, 1 Basic Intercessor Squad, some Fenrisian Wolves, double Lancers, a Scout Squad, and then a 6-man unit of Cavalry, followed by 3 minimum size unit of Cavalry, with 6-man Wolf Taker unit and a 5-man unit of Wolf Guard Terminator. Okay, I like this variation a bit better. This is not trying to do something that it doesn't do with all that DACA. Bring in the good cheap type of units. Look at 115 points for that cavalry. Pretty solid. I think our squigs are due for a points decrease. Come on now, GW. Oh, all right, no, I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon. I know they suck. They suck at that job. So Lancers, obviously, people are looking a little bit more towards what they got to kill with anti-tank as well. So when you're coming in here and you're like, I just got a bunch of dumb bodies, and even my stupid killer cans, because the ablative wounds, because you can -1 damage the killer cans from any like 2 damage spammy weapons at range. Killer cans start to just soak up a bunch of dumb anti-tank damage too. So the stuff that people are built for doesn't really have good targets in this detachment. And then also you still have the good weapons. So Thunderwolf Cavalry, yeah, normally they're T6 and they, only have a 4 pinfall all the time, but you're only 1 key anyways. Your strength 8, your 2 damage on your Ludas, all this different stuff. It's like, oops, well, I got weapons for you. Hope you don't stand an objective anytime soon. And even if you don't, there's other stuff that can kill you on the battlefield. Always still have Zod that can run up and clog the battlefield so the cavalry can't get around. So yeah, it gets pretty badass. Orcs, it's just really interesting when you play that version of Orcs that people are just not prepared for that, right? Because then Zod is like I'm gonna create a bunch of space, lock down what I can't really kill right now, shoot everything else to bits. Then when my wall's over and Zod's cleared out, then I'm gonna turn all my dock over there and also do it over there too. So it's pretty sick, especially if you get the kill can combo off on there. Oof. Then we go into his team, which is into the Imperial Knights. As you can know, if you're playing Dread Mob, big shells for bigger gets. You got the DACA strat to reroll hit rolls. You're about to just make it rain here. So we got Canis Rex, Knight Atropos, nice Lancer, and then Golden Light Knight Crusaders. So I appreciate that they are all playing big stompy knights. Really cool and intimidating to see to a certain degree. But Lancer, he has to come get stuck in. Absolutely glad about that. I would love to charge him once that it's the wall and I got my get close in cans range. Yeah, you still actually Gatlings. He has some Gatlings. So he does have the firepower to start cleaning you up. But when they come out to play, or even if they at all, I mean, you're going to appreciate even tank busters, focus firing something down. Again, like I said, you could put the big shells for bigger gets. So most of the time you're thinking like, oh, but I'm going to do that. The combo here is then you can big shells for bigger gets, full rerolls to hit on your killer can unit so that you're +1 to wound, +1 damage. So you're shooting, you're wounding them on 4s. You're hitting them on 4s, winning them on 4s with sustain, but you're rerolling the whole hit. I would choose sustain because I like the spike damage. But if you're, just trying to play it safe, you can choose lethal, and of course every hit just turns over. So that's good too because mathematically on 4s, it's kind of like you get to kind of pick. Lethals is usually what people would kind of lean towards if they want more assured damage. So yeah, because the wounding on 4s, that is your determinant. But then you're just putting flat 4 damage rockets on these gets with everyone that goes through. So that's pretty sick when you get that off. Then you start the tank busters doing their thing. Then Ludas can still choose to do lethals on that. So So these guys are getting taken down at will, and then of course you have Zod to go up there and start getting tangled in their feet, locking one down so it doesn't go somewhere, doesn't get combined activations to like kill you or pick up multiple units in one go. So Zod very important there. That's where like a reactive move of 12 inches can come into play. Weird matchup like this where it could actually matter. Because it's not that you move Zod on the line, you just move him in like a stupid, like bubble where like you make space between all of them and utilize the 2-inch coherency, and you're like, okay, now you can't land anywhere over here to charge my Ludas. Better charge my Zod. Hey, like it's stupid. And you put your Zod in a building. You put your Zod in a building, then the night characters can't, precision out your character, so they can't kill Zod super runs. Then they're stuck there stomping on stupid grots and stuff, and you have all your other stupid grots running around. It's freaking messed up. All right, but 17-point win there. And then his last game, most people are familiar with this kind of spammy meta list, it's, Custodes. So Custodes with the Guardian spam, with some Land Raiders and, a couple witches and stuff and some grafting. All right, everybody, pretty familiar. So we have some 5-man units of Guardians, and then the 4-mans. They're going to be around still, even if when they get points decreases and such, they're still going to get still kind of be around, because that's the only way they can play competitively. Be glad you're not a Custode player. I own Custodes, so I am throwing shade, but it's fine because I own them, I guess. I don't know. I don't care. So we have a Cladius Grav Tank, followed by 2 Prosecutors, then 2 Land Raiders, like I said, and then 3 units of Witch Seekers with Draxus and a basic Inquisitor. So yeah, they haven't put the points increase in on this yet, as you can see, but even with this being decreased, you can like just change these 5-man units to 4-mans, and then like should offset some of that cost to a degree. Maybe drop like a sister or one of these prosecutors. There's stuff, obviously. He just still had a lot of stuff. So even with getting the decrease, and even then, it was still a pretty close game. He got 8 points. If you don't know how this works, a 10-10 would be considered a draw. So he got 8, opponent probably got 12. So a great game right there that he put up right there. And of course, that's with everything here having 2-up armor saves. So that could just tell you how much the firepower still is, where even everything with 2-up armor saves and getting cover is just taking a ton of damage. You're wounding like all elite infantry on like 3s in the game with pretty much all your weapons, besides like your flash kits, I guess, because your flash kits are strength 6, which still wounds at least most of them on 4s, and then they have access to lethal as well. Boy, come on, guys. You guys gotta appreciate this, right? All this DACA you get from this detachment has such good strength, all 2 damage. There's no piddly fire, and you can still go on and trade all those bodies out on the wall, right? You can get into positions where you shoot and then just start declaring charges. Start throwing those guys on the fields once you know they're going to die, or they're in position they're going to die. You want to trade bodies, and maybe you're shooting and then go off. You always have that option as well. There's still orcs, especially on the wall. But even at the end of the game, if everything's not dead because you didn't have the ultimate shooting phase, ton of bodies to still go push the objectives. So in that case, it's still an awesome list. I definitely suggest you play Dreadmob and give it a try if you like making it rain DACA. If you want to play with other walkers, just watch the Dreadmob videos. I'll tell you how to play those best of their abilities as you can, and I'm realistic with you about it, but at least you can still try them, because I still played them for fun, so who cares? And even if you're playing this kind of skew, there's other variations of good skew you can do. So that's what we're here to encourage, right, with the Orks, is that even though the meta has been figured out, quote unquote, and the codex hasn't been out for a long time, and all this stuff that people say has truth to a degree, what's great about being an Ork is that these detachments still show success. Even the ways that they've been proven in the past, they still push through and have good results, right? Sure, maybe you didn't win all your games 5-0, 5-1. That's okay. That's like you're still winning a lot more. You're putting up great scores. You're getting competitive games, and you're playing the faction how you want to play the faction, not how you've been instructed by everybody. Right? I'm not here to instruct you how to play your faction necessarily, but I'm here to advise and push you and encourage you that you can play it a lot of different ways. And like always, give a shout out to our sponsors, the Baron of Dice, as they helped us do our wall tactic dice. So shout them out. Check them out in the description, 5% off in the discount, because nobody likes taxes. And shout out to Baron of Dice. They allow us to do our paint competition. So thank you very much to them. If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!